Hello YouTubers, Alaska Prepper here. Today we're going to do our last video on the 4 B's of prepping. If you all remember, the first B was beans. The second B was Band-Aids. The third B was bullets. The fourth B was bouillon. And the fifth B, if anyone can guess, is going to be barter. So I picked out a few things that I think would be very valuable in a circumstance where maybe the supply lines have stopped working, and where maybe you're only being provided or you're only being able to get things that are necessarily to sustain life. Like, let's say the supply lines have stopped working or they have been diminished in capacity. Well, the things that are going to be focused on mainly is going to be food, water, fuel, right? Because that's going to sustain life. But then there's a lot of small things that we take for granted that we use on a daily basis, but we really don't think about it because right now it's plentiful. And if you stock up on a little bit of this now that it is plentiful, then later on, if anything ever happens, not saying that it will, but if anything ever happens, like for example, in Venezuela, like I said before on one of my last videos, those people on there are starving. There's no more cats and dogs in the streets. They've broken into the public zoos and killed their animals for food. All right. People are digging through trash bins in the sides of the roads, just trying to find any kind of nutrition. Any kind. They don't even care how old it is or anything like that. And I saw a video the other day where there's Venezuelans, their citizens, they're like, attacking truckers in the roads and stopping them by force and stealing their product or the product that they're bringing into the government-run markets. So don't ever say that it can't happen. It doesn't matter where you live. You should always be prepared and should always try to count on yourself to have the things that you need for at least, 6 months to a year. If you go on beyond that, good on you. But for at least 6 months to a year, have everything that you would need to sustain life and to sustain somewhat of a normal sense of living. And the first thing that you see here is chapstick. No one thinks about it until they really need it. Imagine if you never ever had any chapstick before, if you didn't have any oil, any kind of a product to be able to put on your lips when they get cracked, either in the winter or in the dead of summer when there's really dry air. I think that chapsticks is a really good thing to keep extra of, and you can always barter that for other things, okay? Barter, something that you barter, like chapstick. This chapstick right here. This is money, all right? Money is something that someone else will take from you and give you something else in return. Okay, so you can think of this as money. What will this get you? Who knows? It depends on how bad the person that you're trading it to needs it. All right, it's like, for example, tomorrow I'm going to go buy a small heater that someone's got for sale on Craigslist. They're asking about 1/3 of what it costs brand new. The only thing is that this heater is brand new. It's not even out of the box yet. But I'm paying that guy what he wants for that heater because I feel that what I'm paying him is not worth as much to me as that heater is. Okay? So let's say I'm paying that guy $60 for that heater. It's a $180 heater. To me, that heater is worth more than me keeping the $60 and spending it on something else. To me, it's worth more. To him, the $60 I'm going to give him is worth more to him than him keeping that heater in a corner of his garage not being used. Okay, same thing with barterables. In a way you can say that I'm bartering with that guy. I'm giving him something for something. So anything that you barter for something else, you can say that's money. So this is the first thing. And the things that I'm putting out here today, it's not going to be a whole bunch of things because you could probably think of 1,000 things that you can, that you take for granted on a daily basis that, you can barter with someone. But what I want to do is I just want to wake you up. I want to wake up your thought process so you can think, hey, wait a minute, what do I use on a daily basis that I would really, really like to have if I couldn't buy it at the store anymore. So that's what I'm trying to do here. So that was the first thing, chapstick. And a lot of these things you can find on bargains. I have over 800 chapsticks that I got for free. Okay, don't ask me how I got it because it'll take a few minutes. I got it legally, lawfully. All right, I didn't steal them. They were given to me. But I've got over 800 chapsticks that I got for free. Why not? It doesn't take up a lot of space. It's something that I know I'm always going to use. And it's something that I know that I can barter with if I ever need to. If I never need to do it, great. I'll will it to my kids. Here's another thing. Candles. Okay? You never know when you can use candles. You can actually use candles. I mean, you never know. Of course you know when you're going to use candles. If you ever lose electricity and you need lighting, you know. But one thing that you can use candles for, you can actually use candles to cook. So maybe I'll do a video about this later on. I have one of those small Coleman ovens. It's about 1.5 cubic foot. And it's made out of metal, obviously. And it's got a little door in it. And it's an actual oven that you can put a heat source under it. And it will, you know, it'll retain heat just like a regular oven. It's even got a temperature gauge on it and everything. If you take 8 of these candles and put it under that oven and then elevate the oven above them, obviously, so that it won't come in contact with the actual candle, that oven will actually get up to 350 degrees. And one of these candles will run for about 4 to 6 hours. So if you take 8 of these candles right here, you can actually get that oven warm enough or hot enough to cook a loaf of bread or even to cook a chicken in it, right? Because you can cook a chicken at 350 in under 4 hours, all right? So these candles right here, obviously they're orange, but the reason they're orange is because I got them on clearance after Halloween. I got those 4 candles for like 24 cents. So how can you beat that? And that's another thing that I have a lot of. I have a lot of candles. And trust me, if you ever need them and you don't have them, you'll wish to God that you had gotten some. Get at least a few. And if you see them on sale, stock up. You know, I must have gotten about $5 worth of these candles, and I ended up getting a crap load of, what, 20 packs? More than 20 packs for $5. And these things will last a long time. With candle, flashlight. Okay? Not much to say with a flashlight, but that's another thing I believe in. Light is very important, and we take it for granted every day. Don't really take it for granted too much up here in Alaska, because in the wintertime, right in the dead of winter, there's probably about a month and a half to 2 months where we only get between 3 to 4 hours of sunlight a day. So we always have flashlights everywhere. Like in my entryway, I have 4 headlamps. And I have this flashlight on a shelf in the entryway as well. I've got 2 flashlights on my nightstand. I got a flashlight on my small table that I have next to my chair. We have flashlights everywhere. So this is one of those things that if you don't think about it and say, well, what would I do if I didn't have any lighting? Well, you can have some candles, but a flashlight has a different use than a candle. Candle is more of a stationary lighting, and where a flashlight, obviously, it gives you more movement, the ability to move more. Okay, and since I said flashlight, of course, you're going to need batteries. Okay, not too much to be said there, but batteries. Batteries nowadays, if you buy Duracell, and I'm not promoting anything, it's just what I buy. I like Duracell because they've proven to be very reliable and very good. If you buy Duracells, I believe they come with a 10-year shelf life. And of course, they'll last longer. They may not have as much power in them if you store them for 15, 20 years, but it's something you can rotate. I use batteries all the time. Like I said, I have flashlights all over the place, and I do use up the batteries. I have rechargeable batteries that I keep, and the reason I keep those is because I have some solar panels that I can use to recharge those batteries if I ever have to. So I don't really like to use those because it is somewhat of an inconvenience having to recharge your batteries, but I'm sure I wouldn't find it, or anyone would find it much of an inconvenience if that's all they had and they needed batteries, right? So right now I pretty much just use Duracells, and when I use them up, I throw them away. I get a new pack. You know, I always have enough Duracells to last me quite a bit of time, right? And like I said, whenever I see them on sale, I buy them. A good example, I just bought like 10 packs of Duracell batteries, all mixed up. I got C batteries, D batteries, AA, AAA, and 9-volt batteries. And why did I buy so many? Well, because they were 50% off. All right, the Sam's Club that was up here in Fairbanks was closing its doors, and they were selling everything. They started out 25% off, then 50% off, then 75% off, and I was able to get like 10 packs of batteries for 50% off, and that's a really good deal. So this is something right here that you may not think you'll need it, but when you do need it, you'll wish that you would have thought about it. It fell down. That right there is a screw. And not only screws, but that's going to represent screws, nails, staples, screwdrivers, hammers, hand tools. Okay, you can't have enough screws, you can't have enough nails, you can't have enough hand tools that you can use if you ever lost electricity. Okay, especially having those extra boxes of screws and nails. I have a whole bunch. I mean, a lot. Obviously, I do. I have a lot of leftovers because I built my house. And I have a whole bunch of leftover screws, a whole bunch of leftover nails. I probably have enough screws and nails right now left over, probably to build a one-story home, a small one-story home. I probably have enough screws and nails left over right now to be able to build a one-story home. So that's something right there that a lot of people don't think about. But what are you going to do if you ever need to, let's say you ever need to board up your windows? How are you going to do it if you don't have screws or nails or a hammer, a basic home tools? Okay, so that's another thing that I don't see too many people cover when they do videos like that. This is a big one right here. All right, lighters and matches. Okay, if you guys heard the story that I read on one of my previous videos that's called 1 Year in Hell, one of the ways that the gentleman that I was talking about or reading about made a living during that time, or not really a living, but got things that he needed in order to live, was by filling up lighters. By filling up lighters of other people with some fuel that he had left over, or that he had during the beginning of that crisis. So get lighters. And that was another one of those hits that I had. I went into the store once, and they had some coupons up there for lighters. So it was 99% off, 99 cents off for one lighter. And I read the coupon, and usually a coupon will say limited to 1 coupon per customer per visit. This coupon didn't say anything like that. So I grabbed the whole book. It had like 20, 30 coupons in that book. I went to the lighter aisle, and there were big lighters too, real good lighters. I went to the lighter aisle. I grabbed 1 lighter for every one of those coupons. Guess what? The lighters were only $1.05, and the coupon was for 99 cents. I ended up getting 30 or so, I think it might have been more than 30, big lighters for less than $2. Okay? So that's how you do it right there. You don't have to go out and purchase everything full price. You can have a couple of everything that you need if you want to get, if you want to be prepared, right away. But you can, span it out. Look for something that's on sale. Here's another thing right here. Antibacterial ointment. All right? Antibacterial ointment. This goes back to your third B. Your second B, Band-Aids. I covered some of this on that video. But this is something that you can barter. People are going to get cut. They're going to get hurt. They're going to need antibacterial ointment. They're going to need Band-Aids. They're going to need gauze pads. They're going to need all sorts of medical stuff. They're going to need some of the cream that you put in your mouth to get rid of a toothache. I think it's called Oragel. They're going to need all that kind of stuff. And these are the things, ladies and gentlemen, that we do not think about on a daily basis. The only time we think about these things is when we need them. And you just never know. Right there. In case you don't know what that is, that's a Maxi Pad. So you're going to need, well, it depends on your family's structure, but this is barterable things. Even if you don't have anyone in your family that uses these or that needs them, it's a good thing to have. Number one, you can put it in your first aid bag. It's a great, substitute for a gauze pad, because these things are already sterile or sterile enough to not give you an infection. Okay? And you know what? If there's ladies out there listening to this who use these, just imagine if you couldn't get these anymore. Okay, just imagine if you couldn't get these anymore and you know you're going to be needing these every month. Okay, we'll leave it at that. You know, just imagine if you can't get them, but you're going to need these every month. Another thing that I did, my son thought I was crazy because when Sam's Club was closing, I was like, do they have any Maxi Pads? And he's like, yeah. And he asked me like in like a what? What do you mean? I'm like, do they have Maxi Pads? He's like, yes, I get as many of them as you can. And man, I got a whole bunch of them for a really cheap price. Toothbrushes. Okay, oral hygiene, toothbrushes, toothpaste, floss. Get a lot of floss. Oral hygiene is very important. If you ever find yourself in a situation where you have a bad tooth and you can't get to a dentist or can't pay for one, it's going to be a miserable life for you. Just think about it. A couple of months ago, I had a bad tooth, and it happened on a Friday night, and I spent that entire weekend with a toothache, and I was miserable the whole weekend. Imagine if you can't get access. All right, so dental hygiene, keeping your teeth and your gums healthy is very important, no matter what. Here's a big one. Oh, look at that. All right, any kind of distilled alcohol, okay? Any kind of distilled alcohol. These things last forever. They're not extremely expensive, you know. Per ounce, that's probably a little more expensive than if you would get a big bottle. But you can get big bottles of just cheap vodka, cheap whiskey. You know, it doesn't have to be top shelf stuff. Trust me, you don't want to get top shelf stuff if you're getting it in order to put away, you know, for a barter situation if it ever arrives. This stuff right here, alcohol, I guess vice, things that are that people have a vice for. Alcohol, nicotine, cigarettes, nicotine juice for those people that vape. All right, if you don't have nicotine, you don't care. If you're a nicotine addict, you do not care how you get your nicotine. Same thing like if you're an alcoholic. If you're an alcoholic, you don't care how you get your alcohol. All right, so if you have like that vape juice or nicotine liquid, I actually have some nicotine liquid, which is like super concentrated nicotine that like if you drank it, it would literally kill you. That's how concentrated it is. I actually have some of that because if you have a nicotine addict who goes cold turkey just like that, imagine what they would give for a little bit of nicotine. Same thing with alcohol. And alcohol can be used for medicinal purposes too. Okay? Soap, shampoo, conditioner, you know, things that smell good, that ladies like, you know. It doesn't necessarily have to be just plain soap. You know, things that you like, more than likely, other people are going to like also. If you like lotion, stock up on lotion. You might be able to barter that for something that you really need. All right? Soap, beautiful idea. This soap was an awesome deal. This soap came in a package of, I believe, 10. And Walmart had them on clearance. You're not going to believe this, for 10 cents a pack. I got this soap, or my wife did. My wife got this soap for 1 penny a bar, right? And she took everything they had. I think, and this was like 3 or 4 years ago, right? She took everything they had. They must have had like 15 or 20 packages of them. And she got all of those for 10 cents each. Because I remember I came home and I was like, what in the world is all this soap for? Then she told me and I was like, awesome, that's great. Everybody knows what that is. Don't need to explain. All right, but ask yourself again, if you didn't have this, how would you really like to have this? We don't think about these, ladies and gentlemen. We don't think about this until we really need it, okay? The last thing I'm going to cover is going to be this. This canned foods or any kind of foods, all right? Spices with an emphasis on salt, sugar, pepper. All right, salt, sugar, pepper is what I would emphasize for you to store for barter. Any other kind of spices would be a bonus. But canned goods last a really long time. Okay, they usually, I think, last beyond their expiration date. I've had canned goods that were beyond their expiration date. Absolutely nothing wrong with it. And the reason I chose this right here, I'm not, I'm not endorsed by these people. I'm not endorsed by anyone, all right? Everything I'm telling you is just stuff I buy. This B&M bread is delicious. This is actually bread in a can. If you've never had it, I know they sell it on Amazon. I couldn't find it anywhere here in Alaska. But if you've never had this bread is really good. It's brown bread, and it's very filling, and it's really, really good with a little bit of butter on it. And I think they've got not maple syrup, but molasses. I think they put molasses in here, and it's really good, really, really good. And that's another thing. Molasses doesn't go bad. You can store molasses forever. It should still be good when you use it, and it's something that's barterable. All right, ladies and gentlemen, this video is already 21 minutes in. I'm gonna let it go at that. I hope you got something out of this. If you guys want me to cover any other stuff that you think may be important, go ahead and leave it in the comments. I have had quite a few comments in the past week or so from a few subscribers. So I think that the next video I do, I'm going to go ahead and take the comments and questions that I've had from subscribers. I'm going to give you guys a shout out. And that's what the video will be. I'll give you guys a shout out. So if you guys still have any comments, put down where you're from if you want me to shout out your state or your country. And if you have a comment, I'll go ahead and write it down, get an answer, or give you my opinion, and we'll take it from there. All right, YouTubers, this is Alaska Prepper. Many blessings. I hope you guys have a good weekend. And Alaska Prepper, and I'm out.